Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are. It is hot and stinky and sweltery here in mid-north coast of Australia today. We've had some rain around and that just increases the humidity to about 200%. So with that in mind, I have the fan going. I hope we can't hear it in the background, because as you can see, that's why my hair is flipping up and down. Never mind. So what I want to address today is a technique called retargeting. That's one of those classic, marketing speak words, and I usually don't like marketing speak, but retargeting is a key tenet of what we do as marketers. So let's just talk first off about what is retargeting. This live stream and the live streams I've been doing over recent weeks have been about DIYing Meta, Facebook and Instagram ads, and retargeting is a very, very big part of what we do with those. But retargeting has a broader concept. Anything is retargeting. So what is retargeting? It's any time someone has engaged with you in any way, shape or form, and that can be online as well as offline, and you are re-engaging with them again. Now, they may have brought, they may not have brought, they may have given you a lead, they may not have. It doesn't really matter what that interaction looked like. So if you remember back to earlier videos, we talked about cold audiences and warm audiences and hot audiences. With retargeting, we're moving into the warm audiences. They're audiences that tend to know about you. They've seen you on social media, or they've seen you in Facebook ads. They've engaged with your brand in some way, shape or form. Or they may even have seen you offline. They may know your store, and you may have collected their email addresses, their email address, I should say. We also use retargeting in the deeper bottom of funnel levels, and because retargeting is not just one action. You don't just retarget once. You can retarget multiple times. And if you go back to also what I've mentioned in the past, is that we need a lot of touch points now to convert a customer or a client. We used to say up to 7, we used to say 5 to 7 many years ago, then it became 7 to 10, then it became 7 to 15, and now I'm hearing more like 15 to 20. And that makes sense, because think about it, how much advertising is coming at a person each day. Have a look at what's coming out just to you alone. The volume of advertising coming out on traditional mainstream media, whether maybe you don't pick up newspapers anymore, but do you listen to the radio? Do you watch a little bit of TV? Even on live streaming, do you go to podcasts? A lot of them have ads embedded in them now. And then there's all the ads going out on the various online platforms. So there is a lot more than we ever had back in the 70s and even in the 80s. So retargeting is absolutely critical. In my opinion, every single Meta ad setup on Facebook and on YouTube and on Google and on Twitter and on LinkedIn needs to have retargeting. You'll get a certain very, very low percentage of people, depending on what your offer is, you'll get a very low percentage of people that will convert on the very first interaction they ever have with you. That's great. That's absolutely fantastic. But to get the volume of conversions most people need, you're going to need a degree of retargeting in place. And if you've got a consumable item that's going out to them again and again and again and again, then you're also going to need retargeting. And that's going to become very important. And that's where I also need to mention that retargeting isn't just ads. It isn't just social media copy put into front of them. Email is a classic form of retargeting. Anytime we've got people, sign up for blah, download my whatever it is, and give me your email address, you are actually retargeting them. And then as you're giving them your email address, you're putting them into automation, or you're sending them out campaigns on a 2 weekly, 1 weekly, 1 day, whatever that looks like, frequency. That is retargeting, because you've basically got something from them. They're engaging with your brand. They're going out. So retargeting can go on and on and on. And it is probably more important to get your retargeting right than it is to get your top of funnel, your first off connections right. But having said that, the whole setup needs to be balanced correctly. If you've only got retargeting going on, then all you're going to be doing is going to existing customers, and you're not going to be putting new customers in at the top of your funnel, because top of funnel is getting all these new customers. People have never heard of you before, who are falling into your funnel. Remember, the funnel goes like that. People are coming in at the top end, lots and lots of people up at the top, and it's getting narrower as they're coming in. So retargeting is coming in. So top of funnel is right up here, the top. Retargeting is coming here at the middle as the funnel's starting to narrow. So how do we do retargeting? I'm just going to deal with retargeting on Meta ads, so Facebook and Instagram. So if we go back to, remember, we've looked at this setup a few times in the past. So let's see if I can get the shared screen to work itself today. Doesn't really want to half the time. This one, share. And as I say, it doesn't really want to half the time. I've got to be really quick. Okay, so this is Pet Care Magic. If you've been on the channel a little bit, you've been used to seeing this. So let's just get my ugly mug out of the way and make this a little bigger so that you can see it. So this is the create audience section in the back end of Meta's ads manager section. And I'm going to pick out for you. So video retargeting is an audience. Let's just go back first to the setup that I've got going on here. That's not where I wanted to go. I really wish you wouldn't move things around on me, Facebook. Right, so get rid of the two that I've got selected. So we had a classic. I'm not going to go into what this setup is, because if you want to see what that is and work out what that is, please go to the previous videos. But we're going to look at is a retargeting. So what I've done, let's see if I can find one in. I haven't really done any retargeting in Pet Care Magic, because I was only doing top of funnel on that. So just double checking. No. So go back to when I was running ads in this was when I was running ads in an earlier campaign that I was doing. Let's go and have a look at this one. So what I'd done is I'd sent out top of funnel ads, whether that's a traffic or whether that's an engagement or whether that's a sales conversion. It doesn't really matter what it is, but basically, and this is where I think Meta is extremely powerful, this whole ability to get audiences to interact with you the first time and to then feed their information. We can't see any of it, but their information gets fed back into audience building, sitting behind these audience buildings, sitting behind the scenes. See, video retargeting has got 3,000 to 3,500, and it was created on the 14th of the 12th, 22. So there's 3,000 to 3,500 who've come into this audience. And we know that unlike our top of funnel people, so when you're going out top of funnel, you're going out very broadly. You don't even know whether they're really interested in what it is you're sending to them. They might be, they might not be. But when we go into the retargeting audience, they've already exhibited intent. They've interacted with an ad or a video or an instant experience. Again, instant experiences I did last week, so go and have a look at that video if you're interested in them, and you should, because they're a brilliant ad type. So they've already interacted. We know they've got intent. We've taken them to that next level, and therefore, because they've got intent, we've taken them to the next level, and we've put their information behind the scenes. Theoretically, they are more likely to convert. So this particular one, if we just have a look at what the setup was here. So I'm using what I'm calling a retargeting audience. In the top of funnel, we're using very broad audiences. This was a pet product. I think this particular ones I was actually highlighting some puppies I had available, and I was getting people to come to my Canine Cavoodles and Pet Care Magic Facebook business pages. So I was wanting people who had an interest in pets to come and follow me. This was done prior to Pet Care Magic launching, and I was building this audience behind the scenes. So as I said, Meta, this is where I believe Meta has the advantage over Google and Instagram, because Instagram's sitting on the Google platform. Can't really say so much about Twitter because I haven't ever done ads on Twitter. But even on LinkedIn, it's where Meta excels, because it really has this ability to take and grab for you an audience, and you can just keep retargeting it. So on this particular setup, I was retargeting anyone that had gone with it's a custom audience, retargeting anyone who'd gone to the puppy page. So that was Canine Cavoodles on Facebook. Anyone who'd liked, sorry, no, the retargeting puppy page wasn't. It was a WordPress page sitting on one of my WordPress websites where it was talking about mum, dad, puppies I had for sale. Yes, I know you can't advertise puppies for sale on Facebook, but trust me, you can, because that's how I sold the last litter of 5. But there are certain tricks to doing that, and I might make a video about that one day. So anyone who was going to that page, it doesn't matter what the page is, because the pixel code is sitting there on that page, it's able to pick up anyone that went not from anywhere, but anyone who went to that page from anywhere. Doesn't have to be from an ad. So maybe you've got the page and you're talking about it organically on your page, or you're talking about it organically in groups, or people are picking it up on a Google search. It doesn't really matter. So long as they're going to that page, Facebook is going to pick up their information and pop that into this retargeting audience. And then I stack the retargeting audiences together. So the puppy page, anyone who went to the Facebook page and liked or followed, anyone who visited the Facebook page, anyone who engaged with the Facebook page. Yes, there's some overlap going on here. Anyone who sent a message to it. I had that particular one in here because I was getting quite a lot of messages coming to Messenger coming to to my account, and that was to me personally, not necessarily to the page message section. And I was also pulling in anyone that went to the Instagram account. Shopify Dynamic Facebook Ads Product Audience, can't remember what that was about. Anyone who viewed the Pet Care Magic website, anyone who viewed the Pet Care Magic Facebook page in the last 90 days, the Pet Care Magic Instagram in the last 90 days, or the Pet Care Magic page all in 90 days. So you can put, as you can see, you can put quite a lot together. Now, there are some limitations in terms of how useful this is. It's got to have had a fair few people coming through the top of funnel, and also coming to all these audiences from various other places. It's got to have numbers behind it. It won't work so well if you just went in and just did a retargeting ad with nothing above it. Then it's not going to work. And then of course we just do the normal, copy, creative, blah 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 blah. You've heard me talk about these ad nauseum. Just do the normal ones sitting below it. But the difference here is, we've got these ads, and we've already tested what's going to be a really useful primary text, what piece of copy. You generally, when you do retargeting, you're generally rebuilding them with the top 2 or 3 pieces of copy that are really giving you good results. the headlines that are giving you good results, you know, the calls to action that are giving you good results, and then you do the usual thing, which is send them out to wherever you want to send them out to, and track it as per usual. But because this is a warmer audience, you should be getting better results. This is where your conversions should be starting to happen. If your conversions are not starting to happen on this, then you've got a problem. So let's go back and look at the results on this. I go back to the ad sets. So I had $10 a day behind it. I honestly can't remember how long it delivery started on the 10th of December. Can't remember. I don't know how long it ran for. This wasn't getting any. It wasn't getting any conversions. Can't remember why. I was probably mucking around testing with it. It's getting. You'll get less impressions, but theoretically you'll get better bang for your buck because that theoretically they are a warmer audience. 5 went to the landing page. Cost per landing page view. That's a bit high. So I've clearly picked one that wasn't actually optimized terribly well. So you should be able. You should get less spent, more people going to the landing page at a better price because it's all more optimized. You should have a better click-through rate. CPM can be a bit all over the place, but your engagements and your link clicks and things like that, they should all be higher. So let's go and look at some of the audiences. So this is pet care. This is the ad account running Pet Care Magic, the Pet Care Magic ad account, ad account. Lookalike audiences tend to be top of funnel, although that one, and you can mix and match, but I try and keep my top of funnel fairly purist. So video retargeting is one of them. So if I'm running a video or videos on any of the ads, I can ask the, let's have a look at this. So custom audience, see meta sources video next. It's going to ask me a whole sequence of various people viewed at least 3 seconds, at least 10 seconds, completed or viewed at least 15 seconds. Now, which one of these do I use? It depends. If I've got a video that's only 10 seconds long, then it's no point me doing that one because they've got to watch the whole video. I would be wanting to do that. So, but you can do that plus that plus that plus that. You can do lots of them. People have completed and viewed at least 15 seconds. Again, if a video is 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds long, then that one's not going to be any good. I must admit, I tend to do either 25, 55, 75, or 95%. I tend not to do 95. I tend to come lower rather than higher on these video views, but I will already have looked at the videos back in the results. I will already have looked at them and seen what fall off. You've always got a fall off. So let's see if we've got videos in any of this. No, we don't. No, because I was doing all dynamic creative here. Video views, this one. So this should be video 1, video 2, video 3. So and what I'm looking for is the video results, impression viewers. This one. So video 1, video 2, video 3. Let's say I want to retarget. Now, if I'm getting good looks at, so video 3 is a standout winner there. 14,000. Video 2 is a waste of time. Video 1 is not so crash hot. So I would be retargeting video 3 and I would be looking at 3 seconds, 3 plays 302, video plays at, I've got 1,000 at 25%, 632 at 50%, 423 at 75%, and 314 at 95%, and 298. The fall off there is reasonable. It's gone from 1,000, it's about a fifth, of 300, it's about a third at 100%. You'll never get a really high number here and an equally really high number here. It just doesn't work that way, no matter how short your videos are. If your videos are super short, like a couple of seconds, then you will, but they're not really watching it. They're clicking on it or not clicking on it, or it's playing before they turn it off. Remember that meta ads do really well with numbers. You've got to feed a lot of information into meta to get a decent effect, to get a decent result. So I really wouldn't be targeting at 95%. I'd be targeting this one at 25%. This is where you've also got to be really important where your message is within the video. So I'd be targeting, video 3, whatever that was called, at 1,000 at 25%. So that one, and just for argument's sake, I would probably, depending on what sort of metrics I had and what I knew, I'd probably be doing my retargeting audience at something pretty, I'd put a few of these together, and then I would choose video. So I would go looking for video sources. I'd go look, go looking for it. It's not going to pick it up right because I'm not on the. So I'd go through and look for the video. I know that's video 2. I've used the same video, so I'd be picking up, this one, and I won't confirm it because that will actually build the audience, and I don't want to build the audience, but show sources. So that's basically how you would. And then of course you say, well, over what period of time, how long has that video been running for, how current is the information on that video, is it something that's been video that you've had running for over a year, and that a lot of people, again, we want the maximum numbers of people going into this audience as we can. So if I've got a video that I've been running for over a year and I know it's been getting really, really great results, top of funnel's been getting a lot of people looking at it, then I would put 365 days. If it's a very topical thing and I know, let's say I'm selling summer dresses and I know I only started to put them up for sale, 60 days ago, then I might put 60 days. And of course I'll name it and give it a, I tend not to use descriptions. I get pretty lazy. So that's sort of using the videos. Extended retargeting worldwide. What have I got that set at? So that is that's what I call a stacked retargeting audience. It's quite a number of things. So you can do a single item retargeting like we did just then with the videos. It was one video over a certain period of time for a certain set of criteria, like 25% of the video. In most of what I do, I tend to stack my retargeting audiences on top of each other. Again, remember, Facebook needs numbers. It needs volume of data, and because most of what I'm doing is in Australia, and our audience, we have a total population of 26, 27 million, somewhere between 26 and 27 million. So, if I'm doing something that's got a much smaller audience and I want to stack the retargeting together, sometimes I'll play around with it and say, well, what is going to happen if I just use single item retargeting? Again, we're back to, you've heard me say it over and over and over again, testing, 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 and testing. So what I tend to do is build the audiences. So here's Facebook, Instagram engaged, 365. So it's usage. Don't know whether it's going to show it to me because it's not. So let's go and create an audience, and I'll show you how you get that. So Instagram account, next. Source, what is the Instagram account source? Why is it, what is the particular event? People who followed it, people who engaged, people who visited, play around. I tend to stay very broad right up the top. People who visited or looked at it, rather than people who engaged, depending on what you get. If you've got an Instagram account that's got 20 gazillion followers and they're all heavily engaged, then I might just want to go people who engaged with it, or people who engaged with any post or ad, or people send a message. Again, get back to what is your strategy. What is it you've got that you're working on? You need to know what it is that you've got happening there at that top level for this to make any sort of sense. Again, get the most numbers you can. So there is literally Pet Care Magic Instagram. I'm not good at putting content on Instagram accounts, I just confess. So I don't really want engaged. Followers, it's not getting too bad in followers. I can only do, this one I can only do one sort of thing. Can I include more people? I can, yeah, I can, mix and match things here. So I can actually mix and match things here, but it's on a slightly different setup than the way we're doing it elsewhere. Well, there we go. See, it says, no, you can't do that, so stop doing it. But I can also exclude people. I might exclude people that, bought from me last week or whatever that looks like. So, again, how many days, what do I want it to look like? Include more people. Let's do a different Instagram account. Anyone who visited it in the last 3 months, you can create an audience page. People started following. With other options, you can create multiple Instagram. Yeah. It's stopping me from doing that because it wants me to stack these together, to do them as separate audiences and then stack them together like I tend to do. Probably that's why I tend to do it. So people who send a message, estimated audience size below 1,000. Facebook will always put that there if the size is number. So I think it was about 40 or so. This was for the puppies. They won't give you any details. They won't give you any details about who's in these audiences anyway, but they won't give you any details when it's a small number, because they don't want you to be able to identify a single person or a group of single people within the, I can't edit these audiences because they were shared with me. So these came from a different ad account. When I was running these ads initially, I wasn't running them in the Pet Care Magic ad account setup. I was running them in my general business setup. So that's just me being a little bit ridiculously convoluted, which is what I tend to be. So as you can see, there's all. So I'll just go back and explain that. So what happened was I ran. I don't know whether I can get to business. I probably can't get to business settings because I am on. So I actually initially ran these ads in my DOS main account. And let's see if it'll take me across to audiences. There's another little interesting way you can retarget. You can get people to share audiences with you. So here's the audience in the initial account in which I did run the ads. Page, who sent a message to your page, what retention, what did I call the name? And then what I did was I shared that with the Pet Care Magic ad account. So the audience was generated in a different ad account using different ads, and then I shared it across to the Pet Care Magic ad account. So there's lots and lots of little tricks and techniques you can use in there. People who view the Pet Care Magic Facebook page, anyone who engaged with the page, you can have views. So engaged and views are quite different. viewed it, they just looked at the page, engaged as they were on the page, and they liked or commented or shared or sent a message. So as you see, there's lots and lots and lots of different options here. And then I tend to just try to see where I can find where I've stacked it for you. No, it's not. No, sorry, it's I'm looking at the wrong spot. That's why. Because when I restack them, when I stack them together, I stack them together in the I'm off DOS now. Yeah, I need to be on DOS. I have this horrendously convoluted setup going on, which I keep meaning to fix. So you've got all these audiences built in the back end, and then when I go and stack them together as I go and stack them together when I'm doing a setup. So let me show you one of those setups rather than trying to, I think. This might show you. So retargeting, manual placement, pet care magic plus canine. So that's saying that some of those audiences were shared. Half the time I can't even remember what I've named things, but here it is. It is important to name things so you can remember what it is you're talking about, says she. So PCM plus canine caroodles retargeting. Now that is not an audience that's come from this audience manager up here. That's one I've created out here and then given it a name. But these you will all find if you go into the back end of that audience section on Pet Care Magic, or where I've shared them across from the Canine Cavoodle stuff. You will find that these reflect various audiences. Now, you're not going to show audience size is going to be unavailable because it is going to be too small. And I never really pay much attention to these, quite frankly. They're always wrong. Not down there, up here, up here, up here, up here. All right. So I've stacked them all together there to see whether I can get an audience that is a bigger size for retargeting, and then I've gone out and done the same sort of ads. Just trying to think what else you need to know about retargeting. So retargeting, and if I had actually written this correctly, I would have had top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. So bottom of funnel, you can use retargeting audiences as well. They tend to be not quite as broad as the middle of funnel ones that we just did. So it would be something like a customer list can be very bottom of funnel. And I would either import from MailChimp, I would either download a file template. So I can go into Shopify, I can go into any of my email programs. I can get together a list of first names, last names, and email addresses. But the email addresses they're giving me as a customer may not necessarily be the email address that they're using on Facebook. So there can often be a disconnect. And I'm finding that quite a lot. If you've got people that have got a very, very old Facebook account, then we're often seeing things like a lot of Hotmail addresses. Prepare list, import from MailChimp, see various formatting, include at least one main identifier, email, phone number, mobile. Mobile's sort of becoming an interesting one to use now because a lot of people are having to put their mobile numbers on Facebook. I've never used Facebook app user ID. I wish I had that. Facebook page user ID, the same, first name, last name. You can have states and all that sort of thing, various places. Does your list include a column for customer value, how much they spend? If you're doing top-end e-commerce work, that's going to be very important. Yes or no? Let's go no. Next. Yes. By checking this must agree to Meta business terms tools, you'll sometimes get that. If you get an error sometimes in these setups, it's because you haven't gone and accepted yes, particularly in some of these custom audience builds. You've got to go in and accept the yes, I had legit reason to be able to be using this. And usually it's because the customer's given it to me. And then you can upload the file, you can name it, etc., etc. We haven't got a file to upload, obviously. Instagram account, events, Facebook page, shopping. I haven't used that one very often. Platform, account center, who viewed products. Now that would be a very bottom of funnel. Who's viewed the product, who's saved the product, who's viewed a shops page, who's viewed a shops collection, who's added products to their cart. Add to cart, I forgot to mention that in the very beginning. Add to cart is also, abandoned cart is also a classic retargeting campaign. Anyone who's gone to your shop, placed a product in their cart and left it is a very, very classic use of retargeting. We're retargeting them because they've exhibited very, very high intent. They've said they want to buy because they've actually put the product in the cart. Initiated checkout, purchased any product. These are getting now more into very, what I would call bottom of funnel. They're a hot audience as distinct from a warm audience. Create audience, what else can we do? Instant experience, have they gone and viewed an instant experience ad? People who opened, which instant experience did they open? I don't know. Search by, okay, so we've got a couple of instant experiences run up here. Have they viewed it? Again, go back to my instant experience video I did last week. I love instant experience. I really do. They tend to be highly convertible audiences. So people who opened it, people who clicked any links, there's again various criteria you can use. So you could actually have a lot of retargeting audiences built. People responded going or interested. Great if you're running events, visited the event page. So we see with events quite a lot now, depending on what the cost is of the event and how big the headline act is or the event is, you'll have people that actually won't buy tickets till literally a few hours before or days before. You know, if you're lucky, it's on the Saturday and they're purchasing the Thursday or the Friday, unless it's a really, really big event that's going to sell out and there's very high intent to go to that event. But so this would be really good if you're running an event, because you know they've probably gone and looked at the event. Sometimes they've responded that they're going or they're interested, or they've responded going or just interested, or just even visited it. So you can actually go back. So it's gonna give you better bang for your buck with those people that you're going back to. You're not going to serve your ad up to people who looked at it in the first instance for a month before and have no intention or no interest in ever going to it. Theoretically, if everything else is being done right, your copy, creative, your event, the dates, all those other bits and pieces that come together for meta ads, if all of those are being done correctly, then you should be getting a very, very high conversion rate on this. So what you're spending on advertising should be converting into ticket sales or sales, and be giving them a very high ROAS and very high or return on investment. As you can see, there's just so many. You can catalogs to do selected products. These are bottom of funnel. So this isn't retargeting. Oh, it is retargeting because they've viewed products from your product set. They've added products, again, another form of retargeting. They've purchased products. Retargeting is a big thing that I believe a lot of people doing meta ads just don't do properly. It is where the power comes in. You'll hear people saying, but I'm not getting many sales from my meta ads. Well, that's because you're doing top of funnel. You're sending it out to cold audiences and you're not then retargeting. Retargeting is when you're going to get it. I don't know that I've got something I can show you. Let me see if I can show you this. Go to results. We are on the results. I'm just going to take this down in size for a moment. So with retargeting, so we talk about things like frequency of ads. Does it look like I've actually got frequency set here? Probably not. Often don't do it. So let's customize columns. Let's apply. So I've just added frequency in there. Now, frequency is how many times, let's see what it says, the average number of times each account center account saw your ad. They've changed the wording on this recently, and we're debating a lot as to what that actually means. Let's see what they're saying. Definitive account. An account center account refers to either one, an individual Facebook or Instagram account has not been added to the same account center as another account. The two or more Facebook and Instagram accounts have been added to the same account center. It's honestly, sometimes I have to stand on my head and do triple somersaults backwards to try and work out what Facebook, what Meta, I should say, means when they say some of these. But basically, we've always taken it to mean the number of times a person has potentially been seeing your ad within a certain period. In this case, it was December 1st to January 20th. Now, top of funnel will get a lot more ad fatigue going on if frequency gets high. So once frequency gets up around 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, which it often does, the ad will cease to be useful or cease to be effective. But, and here's where I come, why I talk about retargeting. You can use a much higher frequency in retargeting because you are going to a warm audience. So see, this is retargeting there. It had a frequency of 4.9. Now that's, I've taken them very much higher than that. I've taken them up to 15, 20 on events. If I've got an event going on, you know, on Saturday and it's Wednesday, you know, I want that ad. I want that ad out and powering and being seen over and over and over and over again. But I only want to do that for a short period of time. So this is retargeting again. You can retarget very quickly, very intensely, or you have a slower burn where you retarget less intensely. But retargeting, you know, you can get away with sending a much higher frequency of campaigns out, and that is also why often your retargeting campaigns are more effective for two reasons. One, because they can often go out with a higher frequency because you've got a smaller audience and you've got a warm audience who have already exhibited intent. I tell an interesting story about, I was running an ad campaign for, this is some years ago now. It was a boutique, like boutique food place in Sydney. They had a very, very narrow audience because their products were very, well, they wouldn't, you know, they virtually had to have people come in and buy them from them. They had a very narrow delivery range because our products just wouldn't ship. And they had this beautiful image of a piece of, you know, a round of brie, you know, your standard classic rounds of brie. And I'd been following, so we were sort of in maintenance mode on this account. I was actually not running the account. An agency was running the account, but I was sort of had overview status on them to help them along with the account. And I remember sitting there scrolling through my tablet one day, and I'm scrolling, and I went sort of 2 or 3 scroll. I went, oh, hang on, there was that ad. Because although I wasn't running the ad, so I wasn't in the back end of these numbers as much, I was still had an eye on these ads to see how many people were commenting, had the commenting gone off, as there was being any negative comments, how many people were liking, sharing, etc., without going into all the details on the numbers. And I went, hang on, why did my eye no longer see that image? Because it's the image that people pick up first before they pick up the copy. They pick up the image first, and it's because we had just kept using that image, and eventually my brain had gone, yep, seen that, and I had to even though I was looking for it, I was looking for that ad account. I was looking for ads from that ad account. So that's ad fatigue. Ad fatigue is going to be less likely when you're doing retargeting. So think about it. I'm thinking about going and buying an X-Trail, which I was a few years ago. I subsequently drove that X-Trail off the side of a cliff and nearly killed myself, but that's another story. And so I'd never brought a Nissan before. And in the weeks or months, I'm a baseline analytical. I've got to know all the details before I do anything. In the weeks or months before I bought an extra, I was like, well, I wonder how popular a vehicle they are. I've never paid much attention to them on the road. I'd been a Holden person, basically. How many people drove them? How popular were they? Because in my mind, if something's good, you're going to see a lot of it. And so for those weeks, or I think it was probably a couple of months before I went fully properly shopping for this car, it's like every second car on the road was an X-Trail. And I went, oh, they must be very popular. Now, psychologists have got a name for it. I can't remember what the name is off the top of my head. But basically, if you're looking and you're interested in something, you will notice it. Again, this ties back into retargeting. If people are interested in something, have expressed an intent in it, they will keep seeing it. Unlike the cold audience where they don't know they're even interested in it. And that is the big difference between Meta and Google. In Meta tends to be people who are really interested in something. Meta has the amazing ability to sit them behind the scenes in an audience, and then you can select that audience and selectively send your ads to them. I just think Meta does it better than any other of the platforms out there, and I think that's why it can be so powerful if it's set up correctly. So what else do I have to say? Probably not much else right at the moment on retargeting. I hope you've learned a little bit from that in terms of what you can get out of Facebook ads. As I said, if you're not doing the classic top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel ad setup, then if nothing else, do top of funnel and then some really solid middle of funnel retargeting. Because if you're just doing top of funnel, unless you're a huge brand, a Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nike, name them, and you've got massive amounts of advertising going out of other platforms, you really are not going to get anywhere fast. However, having said that, top of funnel is important because it's teaching the Facebook algorithm who your target audience is. And we can do that with a certain degree of choosing the audiences and picking the behaviors and the interests and et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, the most effective way to do it, as far as Meta is concerned, is who actually looked at your ads. Who not only looked, so there's looking at them, and then there's clicking on them, then there's clicking on a link, and then there's getting to the landing page, and then there's adding to cart, initiating checkout, and then purchase. It's all those spots within that. Meta pays much more attention to those who converted right at the very end than it did to those who were impressions right at the very beginning. But it's sending all that data and putting it all. I would love to see the back end of this ads manager. I really would one day. It's putting all of this into the back, and this is. Sorry, I'm not shared screen anymore. This audience section in the back, and I say to you, if you've never gone and have a look in there, go and have a really good look. That to me is the powerhouse of Meta. That audience section right at the back, where I just wish we could see more detail. I really wish we could drill into some of those audiences, but never mind, we can't. It's the power of it. Okay, so that's enough raving for me. Please remember to like and comment on these videos. Comment if you think there's something I haven't covered that you need to see me cover. Share not so much share, I'm stuck on Facebook, but subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit the notifications button so that you can actually see what is coming up. Go to the previous ones I've done. You can either go in via YouTube or you can go in via my website, which is Karema, KAREMAR.com. Thank you for listening, and I prattle on a bit in these, but thank you for listening and have a lovely weekend.